We're going to do the exterior walkthrough for this RV. This is a nice, spacious RV on the inside, but we'll talk about the exterior here. One key to note is you have about 13 feet of clearance, so please be aware of your surroundings, that you have enough clearance on the top. Please be aware of trees that are overhanging the road. Stay away from the side. Don't scrape the sides with any trees or bushes. And when you park, give yourself a good 8 feet away from trees. A lot of times in the forest, the trees sway and they can blow into the RV, so we don't want any damage there. Additionally, anytime you're backing up, use a spotter and an extra set of eyes. Trees, bushes, poles, boulders, they pop out of nowhere. So if you have an extra set back there helping you out, that you won't back into anything. Additionally, watch for poles and columns in and out of the gas station. Nice wide turns. It does turn well, but you do need a little extra room. Also, this is not an off-road vehicle. You need to stay on improved roads. Make sure that your clearance coming over any bumps or entering any driveways, that you take that nice and easy so it doesn't do any damage to the bottom of the coach. We have an exhaust pipe that hangs down here a little bit lower than the body of the RV. Please be aware of that, as well as the exhaust for the vehicle on the other side. The side entry door, it actually has a little cutout underneath the door. Please be aware of that you don't get too close to a curb and it scrapes up against the curb, or if you're going over any dips or bumps that you cause any damage to the RV. We're gonna move on down here. We have a storage compartment, plenty of gear to store. We have a hot water heater. It is a 5-gallon tank. It is a dual gas or electric water heater. It takes about 15 minutes to heat up. If you're plugged into electric, you can run off of the electric option. Otherwise, if you're out camping in the woods, you can use the propane option. Another storage compartment. And then next, as we come down, we have our the gasoline fuel fill. Unleaded fuel, the vehicle and the generator run off of the same tank. It's a 50-gallon tank. It does have a safety feature. If you get down to a quarter of a tank, the generator should stop or will not start again. It's so that you don't get stranded in the woods because you weren't monitoring your fuel consumption. So I think that's a really nice feature. If we look underneath the coach here, this is where our dumping station is. So you're gonna remove this cap and place the sewer hose onto the end of the tube, and it has 2 valves. On this side of the coach, we have the gray valve. That's gonna be your dirty sink and shower water. The toilet is actually on the other side of the RV, so the black tank valve is on the other side of the RV. So you're gonna hook up the hose, you're gonna pull the black valve first, let it gravity feed and empty. You're gonna close up the black valve on the other side, and then you're gonna pull that gray valve and let the dirtier, cleaner water clean out that pipe and flow into the sewer hole. All right, we got a couple of connections here. We have our power hookup. This is where you're gonna connect the power cable at the RV park. You're gonna put the cable here, and you're gonna plug in the other end to the RV receptacle, and that's gonna provide power to the inside. This is a 30 amp RV hookup. At times we get questions, hey, I'm plugged in at the RV park, but I don't have any power on the inside. At times the RV park turns the power off by turning the breaker switch off. So make sure that you turn that breaker back on, or check to make sure that it's on to utilize the power from the RV park. We have a couple of valves here. We have our city water connection. This is where you would hook in a city water hose. We highly recommend that you only utilize the water tank with the water pump. In the event that there's a power pressure surge at the RV park, it could blow one of the lines. They're just plastic fittings that are pressed together, and if the pressure is too high, it could damage the internal plumbing components, and then we'll end up with a leak. So we highly recommend that you take your hose, you fill up the fresh water tank from here. It does have an overflow, but please monitor the level on the inside so that you don't overfill or overpressurize the tank, and then utilize the water pump to pull water from the fresh water tank. We do have a large compartment here with a full pass-through that goes through to the other side. There's a lot of space for plenty of gear, items or camping things that you would like to have. And like I said, it goes through all the way to the other side, and this is the other side, okay? We do have an electric awning. I don't know if you can get out quick enough. It is just a shade structure. Wind, rain, snow, any other inclement weather, put it up. go ahead and close it on up. Nighttime you're sleeping, close it up. If you're not physically sitting underneath it, we highly recommend that you close it up. It's about $2,000 to replace, so it's not fun when one of those breaks. The arms are just aluminum arms. Usually that canopy acts as a big giant kite and they get bent. Okay, so as I mentioned, the gray valve is on the other side of the RV. The black valve can be found right here for the sewage. So you're gonna hook up that sewer hose, you're gonna pull this black valve down, it's gonna be gravity fed out, and then you'll go ahead and switch tanks. This does have a tank flush valve. So right here, if you hooked up a water hose and turned it on, you need to make sure that you have that black valve in the open position. So what it does is it rains inside of that tank to help get any of that solids, extra solids that didn't go out on that first wash, help those get out of the tank, okay? As you can see, here's the exhaust pipe. Please be aware of that so that you don't cause any damage there. We have a couple of outlets. So AC, microwave, any of the outlets, you need a power source. You either need to be plugged in at the RV park with the power cable or running the generator for those items. We have the furnace here. This is the exhaust. It can become hot. Please be aware of that and don't touch it while it's in use. One quick side note, sometimes these door handles are a little bit finicky. There's a rubber seal on the inside. If you press on the door handle right above it, it'll release some of that pressure. Sometimes that latch gets kind of tight, and then you can release the latch. Also, when you're turning a key to unlock or lock the door, go ahead and press on that as well, and that'll relieve some pressure on that lock. We don't want to inadvertently have any broken keys or you get stranded for some reason like that. We have another storage compartment, and then before I get too far, as you can see, this cutout comes down a little bit more. Like I said, please be careful pulling up to a curb. Sometimes we're paying attention to the wheels and not the width of the RV. You know, you can damage the undercarriage here of the body if you get too close to a curb or if you're going over too big of a bump too fast. Storage compartment, and then this is the propane bay. It is an attached tank. You cannot remove it. You'll need to go to the gas station that has one of those big white canisters that has propane to go ahead and fill it. It's pretty simple to do. There's a quick overview. Let's head on inside. Welcome to the inside of this RV. We're gonna go over the controls here. Here's your control panel as you come in through the door. We do have a light switch. This is for your main light switch. It also has a fancy dimmer so you can go lighter or darker in here. We have your tank levels. These are touch buttons that give you your levels of your tanks. They're just guides. They're not 100% accurate. They can misread. Just use them as an estimate. We have our gray tank, our black tank, our freshwater tank, your battery level, as well as your propane. If we move over here a little bit, we have our generator start button. You're gonna hold and press towards start to start the generator. Once it fully starts and engages, go ahead and let off. It takes about 45 seconds to deliver power to the inside. We have a bank of switches here. We have your water heater. We have an electric or gas option. Remember, you need to be plugged in to electric for the electric option to work. We have your water pump. We recommend that you turn it on and off based off of use so you don't inadvertently lose any of your water. It also has an Arctic package. We're going to leave this in the off position during your trip. We're in Arizona. We don't have multiple days below freezing for the tanks. And then this is a little security light. It's on the back corner over there by the gray dump valve. There's a little light right there. Okay. This does have a 12-volt fridge, so it's going to be running off of battery power. On the inside, there's the controls. It is pretty simple to use. You're going to open up these French style doors, and you're going to power it on. Okay, and then you can press the fridge or freezer, and you can move the temperature up or down. It does have a very nice large ice box here. It opens up, and there's plenty of room. Anything you want or need frozen, you're good to go. A little bit farther down here, we have our electrical panel. Inside the electrical panel, we have a bank of breakers like your house at home, as well as a bank of fuses. In the event that you trip a breaker, that's where you're gonna go ahead and use it. We have a stove top and a microwave. The microwave is a convection oven option. Just so you know, this does have a glass cover. It is only a cover. You're gonna remove this and it becomes your backsplash. And then you can go ahead and use your stovetop. In the event that you put a hot pan on there or you leave it in the down position, it will break and shatter. We do not want that to occur. It is a costly expense to replace. Please make sure that you don't put any hot pans on top of it. Make sure the burners cool down before you go ahead and put it in the store position. We do have a hood with a light and a fan. Kitchen sink, very easy to use. Make sure you got the water pump on. Hot and cold, you should be good to go there. We're gonna move our way down here. Let me squeeze by you. We have a jackknife style couch. You just lift up on the front and it'll lay flat, nice bed area. We do have the cab overbed. Please use the ladder up and down. Goes ahead and hooks into the hooks here. Not the seat backs or the dinette or any of that area. We do have another large sleeping area here. The dinette does convert to a bed. What you're gonna do is you're gonna remove these cushions first. This tabletop is going to rest along this rail. I'm gonna show you real quick. It does have a spring mechanism, but you're actually gonna lift up and pull it away. There's a hook on the back there, if you can see, and it sits into that housing. To put it back in, you're gonna have a nice angle, and then you're gonna hook it into place, okay? This is just a tabletop. Don't sit on it or rest on it heavily. You know, the supports for the cabinets there do good for it, but this is not a seating area for the tabletop. As we work our way down the hallway here, we have our shower and sink. Inside here, we do have an outlet. This is your GFCI outlet for all of your outlets inside the coach. In the event that you do trip that, there's the reset button there. Also, we have a nice size shower. On the shower head, we do have a little press button or a lever. That is an on-off switch, so you can go ahead and set your temperature with the water faucet there, and then you can turn it on and off so that you can go ahead and soap up without having to turn off the water spigot all the way. As you come into the bedroom, we do have your thermostat right here on the left. You'll cycle through the modes. We have fan, cool, furnace, and off, and then you can control the temperatures up and down there with those arrows. We'll step into the toilet portion of the bathroom. It does have a foot pedal to flush with a partial press that'll fill the bowl with water, and then a full press will flush the toilet. As a reminder, if you're going number 2, make sure that you have enough water to waste ratio. We usually say give it a 5-second count flush. Also, only RV toilet paper and waste inside the toilet. No feminine hygiene products, no paper towels, toilet wipes, no other items in that toilet. It will clog the tank. Here's your quick overview. We look forward to seeing you soon.